The Wounded Warrior was made during the mid-imperial period, ranging from 193 AD to 324 AD. The statue is a Roman copy of the original Greek piece. The art and culture of the Greeks had a large impact on the Romans' culture and art. For example, it was actually very common for the Romans to make copies of Greek artwork. Not only was it common, but without those copies, people today may have never known of certain pieces at all. As you may know, in Greek culture, the soldier or warrior was one of the highest and most admired statuses held in society, and since war was so highly valued, the Greeks would melt down statues and other works made of bronze and turn them into weapons, which is why the original Greek pieces have vanished. Luckily, the Romans were able to remake these beautiful works, typically made out of marble, like the Wounded Warrior, and continue to influence and educate later artists. However, unlike the statue's original, this statue, the Roman copy, has a branch connected to its left leg. Though the original does not have this branch attached to it, it was very common for statues to have this because it helps support the statue and keeps it in its upright position. One very famous and influential statue that also has this supporting branch is Polyclitus's cannon. Polyclitus's cannon had a huge impact on how Greek artists formed their statues. He was the first artist to bring math and ratios into the structure of the human body, making the statue look both ideal and realistic. Since the Wounded Warrior was based off of a statue that was made in Greece's classical period, it is expected that the statue would be nude. In this period, the beauty of the natural human body was very much so appreciated and therefore depicted through art. As mentioned earlier, because the Greeks looked up to heroes and athletes, they would be the people that were typically depicted in their art. Though curators don't know too much about who this statue actually is, they think it is the Greek hero Protesilaus, as shown here. Protesilaus was a hero in the Iliad who fought in the Trojan War. The Iliad, written in 750 BC by the Greek poet Homer, covers the events that occurred at the end of the war and the main heroes who stood out in it. Protesilaus was the first hero to die in the war, and Homer depicts his death in Book 2, line 699 and following. It reads, "Brave Protesilaus had been chief while he was yet alive, but he was now lying under the earth. He had left a wife behind him in Pheloc to tear her cheeks in sorrow, and his house was only half finished, for he was slain by a Dardanian warrior while leaping foremost of the Achaeans upon the soil of Troy. Still, though his people mourned their chieftain, they were not without a leader, for Podarches of the race of Ares marshaled them. He was son of Iphiclos, rich in sheep, who was the son of Phylacus, and he was brother to Protesilaus, only younger, Protesilaus being at once the elder and the more valiant. So the people were not without a leader, though they mourned him whom they had lost." Protesilaus is represented as a significant hero in this passage since Homer describes how Protesilaus' people will mourn his loss. He is also represented as a brave and bold character when Homer says, "For he was slain by a Dardanian warrior while leaping foremost of the Achaeans." This means that Protesilaus was the first of the soldiers to be bold and fight, but unfortunately he paid for his brave actions with death. Curators believe that the well-known artist of the statue, Chresilas, as shown here, is representing the death of the hero due to his unbalanced stance, looking like he is about to fall backwards and die. This statue also represents the importance of the hero in Roman society. Another hero that the Romans looked up to is the soldier Hector, who fought alongside Protesilaus in the Trojan War. This is a statue of Hector, the Grecian hero in the Trojan War. This relates to the statue of the Wounded Warrior because it is a nude depiction of the hero, and it is made of marble, meaning that this too is a Roman copy of an original Greek work. Though warriors and soldiers did not fight in war nude, both of these statues were made in Greece's classical period, which idolized the beauty of the human body. So they are both nude to show the values of the time period. Another similarity between the two statues is that they both have a cape draped on their bodies, showing that they are proud to represent the fight they have accomplished in war. Though not much is certain about this piece, it isn't hard to relate this work to other great pieces by analyzing its features and medium.